because I'm going to post it later. What do you think, Cameron? Yeah, it's continuous, right? Can you ever just jump half a mile away? At some point, you're going to have to be a quarter mile away. Even if you're Spider-Man, at some point, you're going to have to run a quarter mile. It's like if you leave home, you can't be 2 miles away without being 1 mile away. Okay, so this would be continuous. And let's do one more here. The number of people in a restaurant. People in a restaurant. And let's make sure I spell restaurant right. Restaurant. I always forget to put the A in there. The number of people in a restaurant. Does that happen one at a time that we count?
20%.
Or is that something that's measured as an interval with half people and quarter people?
20.
What do you think, Cruz? Discrete or continuous? Good. It would be discrete. What we'll see is that discrete graphs will look like dots. They'll be dotted. It'll look something like this. Continuous will be like we're pouring milk. And just like the milk coming out of the container, you might have something that looks like this.
It stops eventually. Because your cup will either be full or you're out of milk.
Sure.
Milk sounds good right now.
Okay. So continuous versus discrete. Are we okay with those differences definition? Keep going here. Another half page, and then we'll do some examples outside of our notes. All right, I'm flipping to a new page. You do not have to, I'm just out of room. Let's take a look at relations versus functions as a table, as a graph, and as a mapping. Let's say that we're given these points. The first thing I want to do is I want to build a table. So I'll have my X and my Y. Which ones are my X values?
-2, -1, 3, -1.
3 and -1. What are my Y values for the corresponding X, Abby? Good. Let's do a quick graph. need to go 5, so we'll go 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 2, 3, 4, and 5. Maybe I'll graph them in blue here. Maybe I'll graph them in pink even. That'll be good. So I graph all the points. Negative 2, 5. I go back 2, up 5. Negative 1, 1. 3, 1. And negative 1, 2. And then let's look at mapping as well. In the mapping, I'll have negative 2, negative 1, and 3. And that'll go to 1, 2, and 5. Where does negative 2 go to? Cameron? Look at your point. Negative 2 goes to 5. Where does negative 1 go?
It goes with 2.
Negative 1 goes with 2. What else do we know? Where else does negative 1 go? It also goes to 1. Where does 3 go? It also goes to 1. So let's ask a couple questions here. Is it discrete or continuous? Is it a function? And what is the domain and range? Let's answer these questions. Is it discrete or continuous, and how do you know? Look at the graph. Is it discrete or continuous? What do you think, Gary? What do you think, Gary? Is it discrete or continuous?
Discrete.
Good, it's discrete because it's a whole bunch of points. It's just points. There's no connecting them. What do we think? Is it a function? Tell me one way you know, Cruz. Okay, good. So we could say that since negative 1 goes to 1 and 2, we say it's not. How else would we know it's not a function? If we wanted to use something different other than mapping, Cameron. Yep, on the x values here, negative 1 appears twice. So that would tell us it's not a function. What's one last way I could determine if this is a function? How could I determine if it's a function from a graph? Maybe by the vertical line test? How many places does that third line cross? At 2. It's got 2 intersections right here and right here, so not a function. What is my domain here? Andy, can you help me with the domain? Very good. Our domain is our x values, so -2, -1, and 3. Our domain is right here. This is our domain. Our domain is also our x here. This is our domain. And our domain is also here. What is our range then, Jesse?
I don't know.
What does range mean? Cameron, can you help him out? Abby, can you put your mask on?
It's the Y value.
It's the y values. Good. So Jesse, can you help me with the range?
2,
2 is there.
1,
1 is there.
1.
1 I've already got.
There's 2 ones.
Yep, I only need to record it once.
5.
And 5. My range is my y values. Here's here and here. Can we ask any questions about domain, range, discrete, continuous? Cool. We'll stop